Happy Tuesday. It's another episode of Nobody Asked Us with Des and Kara, presented by Brooks Running. We had some microphone trouble, but Des, is yours working now?
We're back.
We were annoying Chris because we were tapping our microphones, but we're working. Yay!
Did you get that Zoolander reference? I was pretty proud of that.
No.
The files are in the computer. It was before we started recording. The files are
I knew it was from some
computer,
movie, but I couldn't remember what.
Breaking the old Mac, the bubble ones.
Yeah.
Chris is like, stop.
Yeah, he was annoyed with us. I was like, we should probably start. And he's like, yes, please start.
He just immediately hits mute and like leaves the room. Listens to it on 4X later. Like, that's fine. Publish.
He's like, they do not, and it's true, they do not pay me enough to be here. And he's right. We don't. Right. He wants everyone to know that he got the Zoolander reference.
Oh, thank you for putting that in the comments.
Good job, Chris.
And for getting the humor. The files are in the computer?
In the computer.
Great.
That's a funny movie. I need to watch that again. I wonder if
I feel like there will be some things that maybe
are not funny
as well. Yeah,
are like, no longer funny.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things like that. Even like old TV shows, if you go back and watch them, there's quite a few cringe moments where you're like, "Ooh, good.
We're evolving.
Yeah,
we're trying to be better.
We're trying to be better for sure.
We're trying. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so how was you were in Houston? We'll get into that more because you were calling the races. But how was your travel back?
It was good. It was such a long day because you do the 4:45 a.m. wake up, do the call, come back. I took like a 20-minute nap, had good intentions of going for a run. And then I think I got a 12:30 checkout and I was like, I haven't had food yet. I'm going to have to get a shower and it's super crowded outside. So like, it's not just going to be
an easy
go out
run.
For a short run. It's going to be like manage a bunch of things. So I punted, got food, went to the airport, and then landed in Detroit. There's Travel Hack, a Westin there that has a treadmill, shower, gym, the whole thing. So I left the terminal, went into the airport, did a run, showered, came back through security, grabbed dinner, got on my last flight.
How long was your layover there?
Like 3 hours. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating because you're like, I could actually just drive home.
How long is a drive?
About 3 hours. Well, it's 3.5. Depends who's driving.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's fine. I was able to get a run in. Got back last night around like probably 11:30. Missed the Charger game. Saw some of it on the flight. Was happy to miss that one. Rough game.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah. I don't follow football that well, but I remember sitting with you at Houston last year.
That was the Lions. That was also frustrating. And playoffs are so hard.
You just got quieter and quieter, and I was like, well, I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was rough. I think it was the year before, maybe 2 years before. It was Chargers, Jacksonville, and Chargers were actually absolutely kicking ass the first half of the game. I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. Like this is slam dunk. We're done. I'll book my flights for the next like game. Maybe I can go watch this game in person. And then I waited a little too long, and then it was like one of the biggest comebacks in history. We lost in embarrassing fashion. I was just like, this is the Chargers. This is it. And they're in LA. They're in LA now, so I don't even have to root for them. Like they're not a San Diego team. In fact, the San Diego thing to do would to be like, F you, I'm not a fan of you anymore. I just got to let it go. It's too hard for my heart.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Anyhow,
I can't relate.
Okay.
I'm not super into sports like that. Sports
You
teams.
are. You just have your own sports and people.
Well, that's true.
Like
I'm into like certain athletes, I guess. But,
yeah. Or if we were talking about CU women's basketball.
Well, then I would
and
care.
They didn't make the NCAA championship final because whatever.
Okay, you're right. Then I'd be like, damn it. Yeah.
Be irritated.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it's because like I grew up, we were a hockey family. We didn't watch very much football. My grandpa was a big time football guy, but he would always be like, all the Vikings do is break your heart. Don't get invested,
Yeah.
So I
Taught
like
you
watching
well.
hockey. I enjoy watching hockey, but then we sold the North Stars to Dallas. And so like we didn't even have a pro team after a while. And so I just kind of was like, I didn't grow up in that environment where you like gather around the TV and you watch the game together.
Yeah. What about Olympic hockey? Will you watch that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That's a big one. Will you watch any other Winter Olympic sports?
Yeah. I mean, the Duluth curling team didn't make it this year for the first time in a long time, so I won't be as invested in curling, but I've always really been into figure skating since I was a kid. Always watch hockey for sure. I like a few players. Like I love Michaela Schifrin. Everybody loves Lindsey Vonn. I love Jessie Diggins. So there's like people that I'll be paying attention to, but yeah.
Okay. Well, that's coming up soon. We actually had the trials for figure skating over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I did not keep up with that, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
Tickets were offered. I was sad, but the Houston races were epic, so
yeah,
wasn't too sad.
Yeah.
Can I just say that your mic is sounding spectacular today?
Is it really?
I didn't know. Like I didn't know that I was missing this, but it is just crisp.
You know what I didn't tell Chris? What I did during that whole kerfunkel was I switched because you have what is our little box called?
Focusrite?
Yeah, Focusrite. Thank you. I was looking at that word and it was not making sense in my head. And I was like, I'm not going to say that. Yeah. So I always have it plugged into the first mic, obviously, and I switched it to the second mic. So I don't know if maybe it just needed an upgrade or like the box is slowly dying after 3 years of being used or what, but maybe that's why it sounds so great today. Yeah.
And
last week
normally
we were both quiet though, remember?
Well, and normally on the system here, the system sounds way more complex. The platform, your waves are like huge and mine are really small.
Today yours are bigger.
We're kind of balanced today on mine.
I think yours are a little bit bigger. No, I'm just staring at it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is the closest we've been.
Yeah.
Usually
yours are like
we're balancing.
We are.
We're finding our center.
It just took us 3 years.
A zen moment with our audio. Love where we're at.
Great.
So how was your weekend? You did the live pod on Friday and then you had a nice little morning run. Tell me about that. How was that? And then how was the trip home?
Ran with Chris and Hillary, and then showered and came home. I got home.
Good.
Went to the grocery store, came home. I'm trying to think. Colt was out hiking with his friend, and then Adam went and picked him up, and his friend stayed for dinner. And then I think we watched a movie, or Colt kind of left us because he was bored with it. We watched He's Just Not That Into You. It's like kind of an older movie, made in the 2010s. Who's
in it?
Oh, so many people. Ben Affleck is in there, Jennifer Aniston. Now I can't think of anybody, but a ton of Jennifer Connelly. Like there's a lot of people in it. It's fine. It's not like super
I've
good.
Seen it, but I want to remember it, but it wasn't memorable.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because we had both watched it and we were like, wait, do they end up together? Do they not stay together? Like we couldn't remember any of it. But it was a good, like just mindless watch. And then yesterday I actually kind of slept in, which was really nice. And then had a pretty low key day. Just like went for a run and hung out and had to go pick up Colt and his friend. They went fishing up in the canyon. They went fly fishing. They caught nothing and they fell through the ice. So they were cold and miserable. But yeah, pretty low key day, I think.
Do you go in waders or does he just out there with like shoes and
So
jeans?
He's never been fly fishing, really. Adam does. So his friend was taking him and teaching him. So his friend had waders for him and everything. Oh, cool. But he basically had like really big boots and he fell through. And I'm sure he was like being an idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're pushing your luck a little bit.
Yeah. And so, they were all wet and they weren't catching anything. And they were like, I guess last week the same friend was up there and was catching stuff. But we got snow last week and freezing temps. And so especially up the canyon, it makes a huge difference. It's colder.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like when you're learning fly fishing, you're mostly spending your time unsnagging your line or untangling a knot. Like,
Is
this
that based
isn't
on your
fishing. This
experience
is
in Montana?
maintenance. Like, oh God. Montana's fine. But like the first couple times you go, you're just like, I just made another knot that's like a nest. Like, start over. So it's a sport of patience, which will serve him well in his running, I guess, when he gets into a marathon career, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think he just likes going, he loves going fishing. This friend of his and him, they like just being outside. So they're always doing something. Like they're either, it's a different friend that he went hiking with, but they're either hiking or they're like trying to find a specific spider or they're going for, it's always something. I love their friendship because they're always outside. Like they'll build a hide for Margot, the beardie that we have. It's always doing something. But they couldn't get a hold of me because I was the pickup parent because they were so far up the canyon. There's no service. So somehow Colt gets me this message that they're going to hike 3 miles down to Ebon-G and then I'll pick them up there. And then I write back, okay. And he says, so come earlier than the original plan. And I write back, okay, what time? Then he doesn't write back because he has no service. So I wait like 20 minutes and I go. And then I wait like 40 minutes in my car just reading my book. And then he calls me and is like, they're still like a mile away. But I was like, I know where you are. When you get to the bridge, just stop and I will be there.
I'll go to you.
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's cool when you're probably itching for him to get his license soon then in those moments, right? Like,
I'm ready for him to have his license. Yeah. It's funny because like he hasn't even had it for that long. When he first was driving, I was terrified. This is not real. He's not that good, but he's gotten a lot better.
It's not that good.
And I do feel like sometimes it holds him back from doing stuff like that, Like he went hiking on Saturday and I wasn't here to drive him and Adam was just starting his workout. So he had to wait a little bit. So it's sort of like he can do that stuff more, obviously, when he's driving. I just don't really want him driving a lot at night.
Yeah.
But he can go fish or hike or do whatever and I don't have to take him. That'll be great. Then I can really be lazy on Sunday because I won't have to go get him from anywhere.
Sleeping even later.
Even later. I mean, I slept till like 8:45, but still.
Ooh, wow. Edgy.
I'm like an old lady now, or I have a really hard time sleeping in.
Yeah.
It's like annoying. Even if I have nothing to do, like at 7:30, my brain's just like, well, just get up. You're up. Just get up. It's so annoying.
We're going into really boring territory, but like, what's the sunrise time right now?
I think it's like a little after 7.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I'm just like dependent on the sun.
Well, then you can never sleep in. Right
No,
now it's 7:22.
Ours is 8:20.
It is?
Like it's dark. It's dark. And then like right around 8, you're like, oh, it's 8 o'clock. Holy shit. It's super dark out.
How are your dogs at night? Do they wake you up? Like, are they ready to go in the morning because they have to go to the bathroom or can they wait a long time?
No, they, Rivers gets, I know. Rivers gets up early because he just is excited for life. And he's like, let's get up. Like, or he'll start playing with this ball or something. Loves that. And then you get up and you're like, okay, like, I guess I'll get up and get coffee or whatever. And you go to open the door to let him out. And he's like, no, I don't want to go out. I'm just awake. So you have to feed him first and then he'll finally go out and take like the longest pee. You're like, this is going to be a problem. Well, like 3 minutes still going, buddy. But he just doesn't want to go out. It's probably because it's cold. Maybe. I'm probably giving him too much credit. Yeah, he's just, And then Boston will sleep until the food is served. Like he'll sleep all morning if you don't serve it right away.
Yeah.
So he's in his lazy old man days, which is great.
Yeah. That is great.
Yeah. Yep. So good stuff. Yeah. One more boring thing is that we did get a drip coffee maker.
You did?
Super thrilling stuff because we normally pour over people. So you have to get up, heat the water, grind the beans, all the stuff. Now we can time it and set it the night before. So like 7:20, you smell the coffee. Yeah. I know I still don't have an alarm, but I'm like, okay, like I'm actually really ready to get up. And it's I get a lot of what kind of coffee are you drinking? The instant thing was a huge thing. was like, wow, I didn't know so many people didn't know about good instant coffee. Go to any roaster that's respectable, probably have something. So check around for that. But the coffee maker is the fellow Aiden Precision, and you can set recipes for exactly how you want your coffee made, like the ratio, the temperature, how to pour out, like pour over in terms of like the drips and like the timing of the amount of water and the temperature for each pour. And yeah, it's crazy. So that's been really fun for
That's
coffee nerds out
fancy.
there. It's a little excessive, but it's nice to have coffee ready in the morning.
I was going to say, we have a coffee maker like that in Minnesota, but actually it's nothing like that. It's just a good old fashioned coffee maker, and we grind the beans the night before and then set the timer. And it's kind of nice. I'll wake up and it's ready. But here we have a Jura, so you just like press the button and it grinds beans. And
nice.
But yeah, it is kind of nice to wake up to the smell of coffee.
I didn't know I needed it. And now that it's happening, I'm like, okay, that's the motivation that's going to get my lazy ass out of bed a little bit earlier.
There you go.
So at least there's that. When Rivers wakes me up pretty early, I'm like, okay. You want to know what my biggest pet peeve is? And I swear I'll stop being boring after this, but this happened before I left to Houston, is Ryan will set an alarm for himself. So I'm like, I'm going to get up at 7. He's like, I'm going to get up at 6:45. Goes off, and then he hits snooze twice. And I'm wide awake before my alarm goes off. And I'm like, well, thank you for setting that alarm for me. I'll take care of all the things. That's my biggest pet peeve. He doesn't do it often, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like that either.
That was the end of my vent there. I'm sorry.
So I can actually really relate, because Adam wakes up about 10 to 15. Well, he used to not wake up. I would like get up, and I love my husband. He's going to be like, he listens to the pods. He's going to have a bone to pick with me here. But I used to sometimes get up, feed Colt, take him to school, get back, and he'd still be sleeping. But years ago now, in 2020, I guess it had to be 2023, World Champs were in Budapest, and I was gone for the first week of school. And he got in this routine where he gets up. He makes Colt the best breakfast. He makes waffles and eggs and cuts up fruit every single morning. He gets a glass of milk and orange juice, and Adam does it all by himself. But I get up at 6:55, and I wake up Colt at 7, and then his breakfast is like pretty much ready for him thanks to Adam. But anyway, and then I make his lunch and I take him to school. But Adam's alarm goes off like 10 minutes before mine. And sometimes he just isn't like moving. And I'm like, well, we're awake.
I'm going to try that. Just say it.
So yeah.
That's probably better. I just get grumpy for like an hour.
I can't sleep through an alarm. But that happens to some people. They can sleep through it. Or they'll snooze it and just move on. But once it goes off, I'm up.
I can snooze. I'm guilty. Ryan's always like, you taught me that. Like, you use that exact move. And I'm like, I
learned it by watching you, Dad.
I was
that
busy being through it. So I'm sure there's truth to that, and it's my own fault, but it does still bother me.
I'll tell you what my morning pet peeve is.
Go for it.
We have a dog, Freya. She's 10. She sleeps in Colt's room, and she can usually hold her bladder forever, whatever. The Boston sleeps in our room. Freya sleeps on Colt's bed with him. It's the cutest thing.
No.
But every once in a while, it'll be like the one day I can sleep in.
They
know. A Saturday morning. And she'll come outside her room and she won't bark. But I sleep by the door to our room and she'll go,
I'm here.
Yeah, and Adam won't hear it because we have like a million fans going because my family's addicted to the sound of noise while you're sleeping. But I can because I'm right there by the door. And she'll just go. And it's like she knows. She knows it's the one day that I can sleep till 8:30 or whatever. And she's like, all of a sudden on that day, she's like, you know what? I got to go to the bathroom.
Don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Don't forget about me today.
Good old Freya. She's such a good girl. But yeah, she knows. Yeah, she knows the day that I can sleep.
Worth it though. For a 10-year-old.
Oh yeah. She's such a good girl. You know what's crazy is like I did not want her. I didn't want a dog. Cats are so much easier. You can leave them for like 2 weeks and have someone just stop by once or twice. And we agreed we'd get a dog after the Rio Olympics. I didn't make the team. I think I've said this. We're on the plane ride back from the Olympic trials and the boys go, can we get a dog now? I'm like, wow. You know, the next weekend we go to Colt and I go during the week and look at this dog that needed to be adopted. No one wanted her. She was an older dog.
Aw.
And then we go on Saturday to show that dog to Adam, but Friday night puppies had come.
Aw.
So, and Adam saw it on the website. So we get there Saturday, and Colt and I go to ask for a play date with this older dog, and Adam goes straight for the line for the puppies. By the time he gets there, there's 2 left, and he's like, well, which one do you want to have a play date with? Like, and I was like, that one, I guess. And I like refused to touch her. We're on this play date. I took a picture of her and sent it to my mom, and I was like, look how cute this puppy is, but I refused to touch her because then I'm going to want her. We went home with her.
What happened to the senior dog?
She eventually got adopted.
Okay.
But yeah, I
I
felt like super bad about that. So bad. Her name was Precious, and she was like an older pit and like super gentle. And, you know, people can be afraid of pits, but she was like so gentle, good family dog, but older. But all that to say, I didn't want a puppy. I've had a puppy growing up. I know it's so much work. I used to rage. Adam is going to hate this podcast. I used to rage at Adam because we got the dog because of him. The lady came out and she goes, okay, well, there's other people waiting. So do you want her or not? And he's like, wait, we could take her home like today. And she's like, yeah. And then he looks at Colton and he's like, well, it's up to your mom.
That's brutal.
Right? Like,
that is brutal.
Okay. Yeah. But I know puppies, like, to train them, it takes time. And so I'm neurotic. I am who I am. It set an alarm every 30 minutes, let her out. The alarm would go off. Adam go, I just let her out to go to the bathroom. I'm like, doesn't matter. You have to take her out right now. I just let her out. And then she'd go to the bathroom. And I would be like,
that's how we get it done.
Yep. But in the end, he was right and I was wrong. I'm so glad we have had all those years with her. I'm so glad we had her when she was a puppy. We love her so much. She's like been a huge part of Colt's life. And she turned me into a dog lover.
How old was Colt when you got her?
He was 5.
Okay. I'm still trying to justify it for this old lady dog. But I think that if he's 5 and the old dog was 10-ish, then you have to teach him about death a lot earlier.
Mm-hmm. Well, had been through death with his favorite cat, Simba.
You're just going backwards. I'm trying to make it okay for this old dog. Who, it's gone now, I'm sure. But
no, well, this is no kill state. Like, no, you don't do that here. So she definitely got adopted. But
that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would still take her, but she's definitely not around anymore.
I love senior dogs.
Yeah. I think that'll be our next move, honestly, is a senior dog. But anyway, that's my really long way of saying Adam was right and I was wrong. And I love Freya so much. And she's been such a huge part of our lives and such a huge part of Colt's life. And even though I wanted to divorce him for just a little bit in the middle there when she was like 6 months old and she was chewing all my stuff and peeing and pooping everywhere. God, she was so worth it. And she's been an amazing
sharp little
member.
teeth are rough, but you get through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's amazing. She's a good girl. Even though she knows when I'm trying to sleep in and she goes, We're losing it today. What's happening? Okay.
When I need something, I'm just going to do that from now on. Kara.
It's like so quiet because she's such a gentle girl, but it's like just loud enough that I can hear. Anyway, there you go.
Well, it's a good day to have the good mic going because that sound was really captured. I can feel it pulling at my heartstrings. Like, I got to get up, got to help her out.
Got to let her out. Yeah.
So you made it home, got to hang out with the fam, get some time on the weekend. And when you introed, you did this Tuesday thing, which is when this will drop, but it threw me for a second because
it's only Monday.
The second most Monday of the year.
It is such a Monday today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of exciting stuff over the weekend. Some incredible racing. I do feel like we've just been like violently shoved back into the running scene, right?
Yeah.
What a crazy way to start the year.
It was a crazy way to start the year, but good, right? I mean, so you were there and I want you to dive into more of the Houston fields and everything that transpired because you were on the call. But on Saturday, we had World Cross and I actually watched it. I watched the women's race in the airport, and as my flight was about to take off, it ended, or the top 10 at least had finished. And then as soon as we got up in the air, I bought Peacock, or I got the internet so I could watch the men's race, which I missed the first bit, but then was able to watch it. And I didn't see the relay though, I'll admit, or the junior races.
Yeah, I missed those two as well.
Yeah. But it was it was good. You know what my biggest thing was? Just like they are running so fast.
Yeah.
Like
it was
Agnes
crazy.
Ngetich was like sprinting.
Well, you looked at her splits per lap relative to the relay, and you're like, how is she going to keep this up? This is insanity.
Yes. And so like I think she's kind of been in the background, but last year she really broke on. She was in the Grand Slam track. We saw her win a lot of stuff. She was at Prefontaine when the world record was broken. She ran, I don't remember what she ran, but 14:0 something ridiculous in the 5,000. She ran the 5,000 and 10,000 at World Champs. She was fourth in the 10,000. In the 5,000, I think she was tired. She ended up like 15th or something. But she dominated that field. It was actually crazy. I think she won by 42 seconds, I read today.
Yeah, it was close. She was flirting with the record for biggest winning margin ever. And like she literally was lapping people.
Yeah.
Like there was a few
people, yes.
There was people that you're like, oh, well,
on her
she now has something to do.
Yes. I had that thought too. Like, well, now she has people to look for and look up at. It was totally insane. And there wasn't a lead vehicle that I could see based on the footage. Like they had a drone, they had a camera behind her, but there was no one in front of her. So there really was nothing for her to chase.
Right.
I mean,
what did you think about that? I mean, I think this is off, obviously, topic of the running. The race was just spectacular. But without the lead vehicle, because of the course, which, you know, you could go back and forth on, we talked about this on the live. Is it tough cross country or does it getting into obstacle course type thing? But obviously, all of those challenges, you actually couldn't have a lead vehicle. That was like, you can't drive over the Crocodile Alley. It was actually Gator. It was Gators. But yeah, which was why so much came from the drone. What do you think of the footage of it? And like,
I thought the footage was great. But I did see that she almost took a wrong turn on either the second or the third lap. And that made me very uncomfortable. And then someone started yelling at her because they kind of had this part where it crossed over and she started to go to the right when she needed to go to the left. Yeah. So that I was like, ooh, see, that's why you have a lead vehicle. There's like a lot going on. But I actually thought the coverage was awesome. There was a few points where the drone would come up and we would kind of lose sight of them. And I'd be like, what's going on? But then it wasn't that long. It'd be like 20 seconds and from above the trees kind of, and then they'd come back. There was some cool footage like right behind people. I don't know. I thought the coverage was great. Did you have thoughts on it?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was good. It was a different perspective. I sort of liked occasionally when they came up high because it sort of put in perspective, like, yes, you can see Ngetich turning through, but you look back on the stretch and, you know, you could kind of see where everyone was. So I guess maybe that was the objective of it. It obviously missing detail and you don't have like perspective of behind her or anything like that. But I thought it was an interesting point of view for occasional glimpses. And I think flying that drone would have been a challenge, but they managed to get it done.
There was a few times where they were like pretty close to the athletes and I was like, oh, don't like hit
some
anybody.
Haircuts in there.
Yeah, exactly. But they seemed to maneuver it really well. But I did notice, I think it was on the first lap of the women's race, someone fell in that water pit. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was like, one of the first falls of the day. They like actually pointed that out, but it was bunched up in that chase group for a fair amount of time. What do you think of Wayne Nicolati's decision making? Did we love it? Did we hate it? Obviously, you can look back and say it didn't work out the way she wanted, but got to take chances, right? Is that a good chance to take, or what do you think?
I would defend her on the chance she took. She is very good at cross country. She's been far up at the World Championships before. I can't remember. The last time that I remember, she really went for it at another one and faded, but still ended up like 14th or something like that. So I think we know she's in great shape. She's a good cross country runner. It's on home soil. Sometimes you just have to like take the risk to put yourself in it to make something special happen. And it seemed like she really suffered that fifth lap, but I liked it. I didn't make a difference in the team scoring. I know the U.S. women finished fourth, but if you look at the placings, there was, even if she had finished ninth, they weren't going to displace anyone for a medal. So sometimes you just have to take a risk. And I thought that was the appropriate time to take the risk.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was. I mean, the goal is probably top 10, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
have to put yourself in it. And I think we've talked about how World Cross is run. You just have to be aggressive early. Um, I think Ngetich on the front running so fast pulls people out even quicker,
Yeah.
but they quickly realized that that was going to be just too rich. So I think that maybe took her a little over the edge. But yeah, you just have to stick your nose in it. And I think Edna Kirgot probably benefited from sitting back a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, if she's trying to mix it up with that top 10, I think she's hoping for more people to. She's hoping people fade and come back to her versus inserting herself and trying to just really compete with that group. So it's just two different tactics, and you got to take those chances sometime.
I mean, by the second lap, it was broken up. There was like three women in front that Agnes eventually ran away from. Then there was like a second group. And I feel like Claudia was in like the third group. And she was, hovering in that like 11th place range. I don't think she did anything dumb. I just think they came through, or Agnes came through 5K in like 15:15 or something crazy like that. And I was like, think of all of the challenges on that course, that steep uphill. There were turns, the gator jumps, the water, the mud thing the sand thing actually looked to me like it was the hardest. Like that looked like it was taking the most out of people. Yeah. The mud thing turned out to be a little bit, everyone's shoes were perfectly clean.
There was somebody who lost a shoe. I think that,
right?
Yeah. Like I think they had that like sort of lane on the left side.
Yeah.
Where it was not muddy and there was kind of this flat space you could run on that was pretty clear of the sticky. So as things stretched out, it's like, well, obviously I'm taking that line. Or if it was early on and you're like, well, I can just tuck in and take that line and then figure it out on the other side. Yeah. So it would have been nice to see. I don't know, maybe the whole thing being mucked up would have been a disaster and everyone would have just come to a stop and tumbled over each other.
No, so it was I would have liked to have seen the whole thing mucked up just because it was part of the challenge. But the sand looked really hard. The water looked pretty deep, the water. The having to hurdle those things, it was interesting. Some people, especially as the race went on, more and more people were planting their foot on it instead of jumping it. And then that steep little hill. So I just could not believe. I want to look up her final time, but I know she was about 15:15 or 15:18 through the 5K, and I just couldn't believe it because I mean it was hard. It wasn't like this pancake flat, easy, perfectly manicured course. It was hell. It looked like hell. The women looked really tired, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they still have like 3 laps to go.
Right? Yeah, I mean you're on the edge the entire time. There was no one who was being conservative and hoping to run through because everyone just needed to be on the gas on the floor for pretty much the whole thing.
31:28. And this little write-up says she did slow, obviously, throughout the race, but she still won by 42 seconds. So I think everybody slowed throughout the race. I mean, but I don't know. It was impressive. I think Ngetich is going to be, she's 24. I think she's going to be a big threat the next couple of years, especially with Chibet out of it.
Yeah. Thank you for correcting the name. I think I said Ngetich.
That's okay.
Ngetich.
Agnes Ngetich. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Good to me. No, I just went off the top of my head. Okay. Men's race. What'd you think? How did it shake out? Did you watch it as closely?
I didn't watch it as closely because I joined it late. I love Jacob Kiplimo. I think he's a beautiful runner. It's cool to see him win a third time. That's pretty amazing to think of, like being that dominant.
Right.
Is pretty amazing. I thought Parker Wolf ran really well. He kind of seemed to move up from what I could tell throughout the race. A really strong, like senior race from him as he is just becoming a pro. I'm trying to think of, there was a late scratch, Rocky Hansen from the US, who was second at the US champs scratch. So he didn't start. So the men ran with just a team of 5, but they seem to be pretty close together, like time-wise anyway.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a little group of them, and there was some chances on the men's side as well. I feel like Kip 2 kind of stuck his nose in it early. He was actually leading from the gun. And Wolf. I mean, he just acted like he belonged, which was really cool. What do you think about Nico Young? Do you think people should be thinking he's in trouble? Is this something to worry about? Did he race poorly? Did he race fine for where he's at in the season? Should this be a focus? Like, how do you map out your year this year?
I think people need to remember that he had a big track season. He won a Diamond League. He was there with steps to go in the world final. I think, what did he get? 5th in one and maybe 6th in another at the World Championships. Like, he was right there within like touching distance of the medals. And it wasn't like this crazy turnaround, but it was a pretty tight turnaround from world champs to US cross. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I hope that he takes a break right now, and it's a long year ahead. There's no championship. There's nothing to like dig a hole for or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at any result and overread into it. You could go, oh, well, he's young. He was really good in high school. He's really good in college. Like, maybe he's getting tired, or maybe he just like is human. Yeah. And, like, I think he's just as good as Parker Wolf. So I don't think it was his best race.
Sure.
I think he should be with Parker Wolf. I think if anything, he might even arguably be better than Parker Wolf. So I don't think it was like a great day for him, but I don't think like, oh, he's in trouble. Like, his career's over. I think he had such a long senior year of college right into the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back with another big year where he ran really, really well and broke the American record, I believe, in the outdoor 5,000, not the indoor, but the outdoor, and was right there in the medal hunt in both races at World Champs. And it's like, I mean, that takes something out of you,
I think he's been on for a long time.
Yeah.
I think even when he was coming off his NCAA wins and then trying to figure out, where do I get this 10 trial or time where I can set myself up for longer season games, standards, all of those things. It's like been fitting these things in like year after year. And, I don't know where Cross ranked on the priority list. So I'm glad that he was on the team. I'm glad he made it work, but I could also see like, okay, I don't know if I can bring that same energy level yet again to another one. And I think you start thinking about length of the year and the season and all the things he's got lined up. It'll be nice to have, for someone like him, to have that down year. Mm-hmm. Without the world championships, but there's so many things to keep chasing, Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a guy who's just been on for a really long time. And yeah, I mean, he's a great cross runner. It was awesome to see one of our best be on the team, but not a shock for someone who's been at a high level for a really long time to maybe not be at his best for this event.
Yeah. And like you were saying in Houston, like, it's always interesting. The people who don't make the team are like really hungry. Like, Parker Wolf had some injuries during his track season, his last year at University of North Carolina. Or no, yeah, he was at he was at UNC, and he, didn't have really an outdoor season, but then he ran Fifth Avenue Mile, ran really well. And then he's hungry for cross, right? Because he didn't have the track season. So it's just, I mean, I really like Parker Wolf, so this isn't like a slam on him. I actually like really like him. But I just think it's like athletes are in different places. I was happy to see them both do it. I was happy to see Graham Blakes do it. I was happy to see, I think it's one of those situations probably for Nico Young where if it's not in the US, he's probably not doing it, is my guess.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
It's like, but it's like, oh, I could run the world championships on my home soil. So I think I want to try to do that. So that's just my guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, awesome. Also awesome for the fans, right? To get out to Tallahassee on home soil and see, people who put on the U.S. jersey in the games and the World Championships are fighting for medals and will be fighting for medals down the line. So, yeah, that's cool. Just that fact that he took the spot and went in and did the most with it. So,
and it sounded like, I didn't see the relays, but it sounded like the U.S. relay ran really well too. Ethan Strand led off, and he was the first runner, and he was in first, I heard, at the exchange. I didn't see it, but that's cool. He trains with Parker Wolf, and I think did they end up fourth?
I think so.
Or fourth. Yeah, just like right outside the medals.
Yeah.
But I think it's exciting to have it here. I wish that I would have been able to see it like in person. It's too bad that Houston and it conflicted, honestly, because they're both such important like races for our community and stuff. But it is what it is. I did see that I didn't watch the junior races, but the U.S. U20 team won a bronze medal, which is super exciting. Although someone did point out to me on Instagram that Ethiopia has always won it, and they weren't able to, or they always have medaled, and they weren't able to have a full team due to visa issues. So, but that's not a slam. But that person was like saying it's not a slam. It's just the reality.
Something to consider, right?
Something to consider. But it was still super promising to see those young guys run really well. And I don't know, it's just fun. It's like a good taste of what your career could be like. And so it's just cool. It's cool those kids had that opportunity and they all ran well. And
yeah, it was fun to watch. I thought the course ended up being good amount of challenging, a little sticky, gimmicky, but in the best way possible. It was like fun to watch those, pieces of the course make an impact on how the racing happened. And that they did a good job with it as hosts.
I think it was a hard course because everybody heading into that last lap looked tired. Everybody. Yeah. And then there were still people who really impressed me. Like Kiplimo was able to kick away like it was nothing. Krista Schweitzer had an amazing kick at the end. So people still found the ability to finish it, but they looked tired. And that tells you it was like a legit course. Like when they were coming through, it was like one lap to go. I was like, I feel so bad for them right now that they still have to go through all of those things again. Yeah. So it was
I thought it was pretty funny to see, even at that level, the World Championship, you have the people in the finishing chute that are like, don't stop, keep walking, get off the ground, like just like reaming these kids out. They just run their guts out, they're puking all over, they're laying on the ground, and like you still can't just let them hang out in the chute for a little bit.
Like, what was interesting? I thought that when the women finished, they were all going to drop like flies, and most of them were on their feet and like congratulating each other. So I was like, wow, way to go. Way to go, ladies.
Women can run 10K in cross country.
Turns out.
What do you know? What do you know?
What do you know? Yeah.
Well, yeah, some young stars there for sure. But here was a big shift in the running scene. And I don't know, I guess just how you might map out your future and your career. In Houston, the men's half winner, Samuel Haptom, 22 years old, road racing debut, not his half marathon debut, his road racing debut, first time racing on the roads. And he looked like a seasoned pro, went out there and absolutely dominated, 59:01? Watching him cross the finish line, it's so hard when you see them roll the time up, but I get that there's no point, whatever. It's just, so 59:01, what a day for him.
So he's a junior. So does he still have eligibility? He must,
I believe
right?
So, yeah.
Yeah. So how would you like to have to race him? You're like,
right.
He destroyed us all in cross. He just ran 59:01.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it puts like our young up and comers in perspective, right? 59:01. Rocky Hansen was mowing down late in that race in cross country, and this is who he's stacking up against. So it's exciting for those guys and what they could do on the roads. But I mean, just like send a message to the pros, kind of.
Yeah.
No,
seriously. I mean, it was a fast day for the men. I mean, I just remember Connor Mance breaking that record last year, breaking Ryan Hall's half marathon American record. And it had stood for so long and been talked about for so long. And he got it. But then I want to say, is it Alex Mayer? He was only, like 6 seconds off of it or something?
It's very close, yeah.
And Casey Klinger was only maybe within 10 or 12 seconds of it. So
Mayer went 59:23. Casey Klinger was 59:34. And that was technically Casey Klinger's half debut. And the 25K. So he's gone through the distance, but like focused on this distance.
So I thought that was really exciting because it's not, I mean, I love Connor Mance. He's awesome and he's so fearless, and that's what we needed to sort of wake up the US men, I think, a little bit. But it seems like it's working. Like they've woken up, and now these times that before seemed so far out there, I feel like it's kind of like you see someone do it and then it doesn't seem as intimidating. I kind of feel like that's what Connor Mance has done for the American men. And now we're starting to see people go, okay, well, that's the standard now. So here we go.
It's awesome to see, because I think there's been times where someone will have that breakthrough and then you go like, oh, those are Dina things. Those are reserved for Dina, or those are Meb things. Those are special. We don't do that. We do this over here. And Mance is great, but I sort of love that everyone's like, I don't overly respect you. I love it. I respect you, but I'm not going to concede that you are in your own category.
Yes.
That gap shrunk really quickly. And I mean, I don't know if he's in the race. Are they matching up or is he another tier ahead? We don't know. He's not out there, but I don't think there's any fear by any of the
Right.
guys right now of what he's done.
And
So
I think
that's
that
exciting.
I don't think we've seen the best of what Conor Mantz has to offer, but I certainly don't think we've seen the best of what those guys have to offer either. I think we have been a little bit not hard, but you and I have a little bit, even other people, about how the women are, up closer, not always, but up closer to the fronts of these marathons than the American men. And, like their times had kind of been stuck. And so it's cool to see Conor Mantz and I would say Clayton Young pushing him helped too, but he made this big breakthrough and that's what we needed. Because now it's like, okay, because now it's just trickling down. I think we're going to see it trickle down. I think we're going to see a lot of fast times out of Americans over the next 2 years.
Do you think it's been a shift? Do you think the women are struggling now or is everyone doing fine?
I think it is a little bit of a shift.
Yeah.
I will say. Yeah.
I agree. And I think part of it is that the front end of the women's side has gotten significantly faster.
Right.
We haven't seen that push to that next tier from the women. I think we have the
still
people
saw
to do it.
The women, yes. So when I think about it, I think like D'Amato broke Dina's record, Keir D'Amato, and then Emily Sisson broke that record. And that was recently, right? And like in the last few years, we've seen these times come down where the men's American record was just kind of stagnant for, 20 years, I think. So it just was like, well, the women are still progressing and the men are kind of stuck. Where now I feel like the men are progressing and now I kind of feel like, I do kind of feel, like Conor Mantz was fourth in Boston and Chicago? So now we have an American man that's like knocking on the door of trying to win these big races where Fiona was fourth.
I was going to say, Fiona. I think Fiona, there's the right people. They just, obviously finishing fourth in New York is incredible. She ran super gritty and tough, proved she belongs and could be in there on any race she signed up for. Could she go to a flat course and run the American record? I think so. I think that the way she debuted at the trials was incredible and it was hot and not a day to go out and swing for the fences, and she ran really fast. So that's possibility. What matters to her, is it fast time or is it trying to win a major? That's going to be up in the air. It could be both, right? Who knows? But who else is in the category with Fiona? I think there are some names out there. They just it hasn't been clear enough yet.
Right. I agree.
So
yeah.
And I think we'll start to see that this spring. I think there's just a whole new crop of people running super fast. We saw that with Taylor Rowe in the half. What a great run by her. Just off Kaladi's record. We talked about it. They asked him at the press conference and it sounded like everyone kind of just chuckled at it. Like, no, that's a little bit too far right now, not yet. And then it was like, holy shit, like she's on pace for this. She's like clicking them off. Came super close. What did we have her time at?
I know. I want to look it up now.
I think it was 66:12 or something. So she was incredibly close.
66:20.
What's the record? 07, 06.
So she was only 11 seconds off the American record, but did become the second fastest U.S. runner of all time in the half marathon. She's only 25. So
right.
What I liked about this half marathon on the women's side was that we saw a lot of personal bests from the American women. Obviously up front, you can tell us what happened there, but 64:49 to 64:52. Tell us how that came down in the last stretches.
Yeah, that was a strange race overall. Initially it was like, we're not going to have pacers. We're just going to see what happens. Let things play out as they play out. And so it was kind of surprising to see Frank in there. And then it was like, oh yeah, no, we made this switch. And so no big deal, but obviously took him through in a blistering pace. And you're like, is this going to hold up? I was shocked to see, was it Fonte Balena? That was how we were saying it on the broadcast. You never know. I'm probably saying it wrong, but I was surprised to see her go with that because it was a big leap from her personal best to go with that pace. Gabrielle Salama seemed like she was ready to do that. She had done it a year prior, so not as crazy. But yeah, I thought I think pacers are great. It came down to like the last few minutes, and I was just like, I don't know what I think Frank was literally trying to like, okay, like fly, you're on your own, like let's go racing, because he would go to a side of the road and they would just like follow right behind him. It was like this like weird weaving tactic where no one wanted to lead.
Knowing him, he was probably like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, like I don't know what protocol is in this moment. But man, I just wanted to be like, man, just stop, like just stand still and make them go by so that they can race this thing in. And I do think it kind of played a factor into how that race finished up, which at the end of the day, they both ran super fast. I'm pretty sure they're very pleased with that. But I wanted to see some racing, like going back and forth and like, just getting after it. And
were you
it was
surprised?
just kind of stalled a little bit with that.
Were you surprised watching it live that there was a pacer for them? Or did you know before it started? Because, I mean, you had been told there were no pacers.
I think I said that at the beginning of the broadcast. It was like, they're not pacers. We had talked about it in the meeting. And I think it might have been a late switch that I just missed in all the papers that are coming over and all the information being updated. And then you're like, oh, yeah, Frank's been added to pace the women. So it's fine. I think that we're used to that in Houston and we like the fast times and all those different things. But the men's race to me was so much more interesting because it was just this really good field that was hungry to get after it. And everyone wanted to be on the gas. And it was like, if it started to slow, someone went to the front. It was like, no, we're not today. We're going to go fast today. We're taking advantage of this. And that's when you see really good racing. Still interesting on the women's side. I just wonder what would have happened without the pacer is all.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We didn't get that, but we got some fast times. And then it, like deeper in the field, you still had some good racing going on. I thought Natasha Rogers ran great. McKenna Myler had a really nice run. When she's on, she's so good and people sleep on her all the time. She had one of those days and I chatted with her afterwards and she was like a little disappointed.
Oh, really?
Which is kind of interesting.
That is interesting because she had a 51-second personal best. But I feel like she's one of those people that when she knows there's something there and it's going to connect and everyone's going to be like, where did that come from? And she's going to be like, yeah, I knew it was there. Yeah. I feel like that's who she is. Like she knows there's something big there.
Yeah.
And it just has to connect. But Natasha Rogers, 65-second personal best. Amanda Vestry didn't run a personal best, but ran 67:43. Not a bad day. Erica Kemp, 28-second personal best. Susanna Sullivan, 15-second personal best. So like, that's the crop of women that I'm curious about. Of course, we're missing a few people. We're missing Sisson. We're missing Fiona. We're missing Jess McLean. But that group is the next group, you know?
Yep. And it sounds like Kaladi will be running a marathon this year. Not announced. I don't know if that means spring. I don't know if that's fall or where it's going to be, but it sounds like she's very interested and that's going to be the next step. So that's coming up as well. And I think people have high expectations for her. So that'll be fun to add another player into the mix. And, there's a name we haven't talked about in a long time that I think that we'll be talking about in the context of Houston and the marathon moving forward is Alicia Munson.
Yeah.
People are like, just completely forgot, and she's going to come back and do something spectacular, like as soon as she touches the track or the road.
Right.
But it's just been a little bit.
Yeah. So she ran a couple track races that I was super impressed. She hadn't even done anything remotely fast and she still ran like 15 flat or something her first time out. And then she did run the 5K in New York, but she was sick. And so I think I agree with you that she's going to come back and do something crazy and everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh. And we're going to be like, yeah, she had this massive surgery.
Right. Yeah.
And then had a setback, but she's really, really good. I mean, she's the American record holder in the 10,000 and 5,000. So, and she was fifth, I want to say, at 2023 world champs in the 10,000. Yeah, so she's not a slouch.
Yeah, and I do wonder with the type of injury she's had, if staying on the track and doing the high intensity stuff might be something they find now we should turn the page on a little bit earlier than we'd like or wanted to. Like we can go to the road and you don't have to be as aggressive. It's not as hard on the body, but your speed still does magnificent magical things there.
Yep.
And she's, she's obviously gritty. We saw her in that 10,000 when she made the Olympic team right out of college, just like go to the well. So I think she would transition to the roads. I don't think it needs to be a process like the Joe Klecker experience. Like, I think she could touch the roads and just be amazing. But it's fine if you want to do the 10K, whatever.
Well, I think she could do a track season and still run a marathon. I mean,
yeah,
I know times are different, but I ran the 5,000 and 10,000 at the 2008 Olympics, and then 10 weeks later debuted in New York. So
yeah,
like,
I think it's probably more accommodating now, right? Like, I think you could get by more on speed work and less like strength volume. You can add that later on, but I think you could probably, like, we're seeing that more frequently. I don't want to use Hassan as the barometer for how that's done because she's an outlier, but it's doable.
I mean, she silenced us, so we're going to use that. Yeah, I agree. I hadn't even thought about her. Yes, she will eventually move up, and it might be before LA. Who knows? So, yeah.
Do you want to talk about the marathons quickly?
Yeah.
I think the women's side we can just talk about really quickly. Callie Hogger Thackeray won in 2:24:17. She ran Honolulu like a month prior. Crazy turnaround. Again, I thought this was, I don't know, the pacers just sometimes drive me bananas because we saw the screen a few times and it was kind of like this entourage of men in front of her, and it just takes away from the television aspect. It takes away from the excitement of a race. And then on top of that, coach plus husband as a pacer had a little bit of issues with. I don't think it particularly mattered at the end of the day because she had such a big lead and she was doing something very different from the rest of the field. But yeah, watching the late parts of, I think they handed her water a few times is a little bit of encouragement. It's like, ooh, this starts to flirt with, is this okay or is this too much? Again, I don't think it impacted the race at the end of the day, but things to consider, I think.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I mean, there are rules, right, for aiding in the marathon. So
yeah, but still amazing.
Did she separate right away from everybody?
It had to be before halfway.
Yeah,
I think that some people took that pace group and went with it that just probably had no business with it. And they were, I think, even slower than what they had originally intended to run. I think she wanted to shoot for sub 2:20, and they tweaked right out the gates, which was probably good. But it's an impressive run. I mean, that turnaround is crazy, and she still ran really fast.
So what does she do now? Does she take a break and like try for something? I'm trying to think on the calendar because the spring marathon is like soon.
Yeah.
So does she do that again, or does she take a break and try to like really just go for it in like somewhere Berlin in September? What would you do? Because she obviously thinks she has a big fast one in her.
Mm-hmm.
I see her. She's obviously very gritty. She ran Chicago, Honolulu, Houston, and she had run the world champs 10K, 10,000 before that. But then I start to worry of like, well, now you're hitting your head against the wall. Like at some point you have to like stop, pause, rest, reset, and start again. So do you think we'll see her in a spring?
Listen.
Stop. Collaborate and listen.
I think there's two different things. If it were me, I would be focusing on 5K, 10K, half marathon, working on that for basically the rest of the spring, and then whenever it's time to get ready for the fall marathon, turn over to that. That's what I would do. I think what's interesting, if you looked at her results last year, I think she ran like 16 different races, 5K up to marathon. So she enjoys that. She's touching on those distances, and maybe it's something like that again, where she's just racing odd distances in between, and then puts maybe 2 more marathons on. Who knows? But right. I won't be shocked if you see her on a list for the spring. But if it were me, I wouldn't. I would take a break.
Right. Yeah, I know. I think sometimes it's interesting because you see these athletes come back and back, which is something that like didn't happen in my career. Like you had to like take time and recover. And I know that I know the sport has evolved since I raced it, but it's still even mentally like you're You
That's a
need like
lot.
to reset. Yeah. And I think physically too. I don't care how much easier you recover because of the new shoes. Like at some point, you still need to like recover, reset, and start again, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a great example that would just prove us wrong too, though. I mean, look at like Sarah Hall ran New York. She ran CIM. She was going to pace in Houston, finished it, finished second. And then it was on the broadcast. Someone said she's planning on running Tokyo, which haven't seen a list for that. But I mean, she's still running pretty high level at all of those. And
Well, that was
I
interesting
don't
because she
know.
said on her Instagram post that she didn't train. She said she didn't train much over the holidays, which for Sarah Hall is probably still like 120-mile weeks.
Yeah.
But that she felt like she took downtime away from like serious running, and then she comes out and runs 2:26. So yeah, I mean, like this is where it's hard for me to really comment because the game is so different. Like the sport is so different. Marathoning is just so different than when I did it. So it's like it's so hard for me to fathom that Sarah Hall ran CIM, and did she run Chicago before that?
New York. Dropped out of New York.
CIM.
Pretty sure.
Houston, Tokyo. But we've seen her do it a million times, and she is like very, very consistent.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand how that works.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest things I've noticed is that you sort of feel like these races are like 20 milers.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're stopping before the real damage of that last 10K or whatever it is, it's a little easier to come back from. Like, I feel like that even the next day walking around. I mean, back in the day, you know, you'd have to hold onto the side of the bathroom walls to like to lower yourself onto the toilet after Boston. You know, it was like 3 days of that.
You had to avoid stairs for a couple
You're
days.
Walking backwards, like back, you know, things like that. And so that's not the case anymore. It's just that's just a fact. Like the next day, just like, you could go do a easy jog. So it feels more like 20, which I think you could do 20 milers every couple weeks, and it's still obviously a race effort versus just a training run. But there's something about the damage. It's much lighter.
Yeah. And I never ran a marathon or did a marathon buildup with super shoes.
Right.
Like my last marathon that I prepared for was 2019. I was like, I was running with Ultra who didn't have super shoes, and I didn't want to anyway. It was like just for myself. And so I don't know what that's like. I guess that's what I'm saying is like, I physically don't know what that's like. And so it's hard for me to speak to it because I'm like, how is Sarah doing that? But I don't know what it's like to have the marathon feel differently. And I mean, Sarah's not the only one doing it. We just saw Callie do it. Like there's people who are doing it all the time. We saw a lot of people, even Clayton and Connor have come back and done pretty tight turnarounds that you would never have dreamt of doing,
right?
10 years ago. So it's just something that I always feel like I'm out. That's like a little thing I'm missing because I didn't race
just
in
unknown,
that era.
right?
Yeah. So I don't know what it feels like. Yeah.
Well, I can promise you that the couple days, the recovery is much quicker, and you just don't feel it the same way you did, which is not a bad thing. I mean, I think it's allowing people to race more, which is exciting. So there's that.
Okay. I think
okay.
Oh no, the men.
Yeah, that was an exciting race. Zohair Talbi, now a U.S. citizen, got the win and the course record, 2:05:45. Another man under 2:06 for the U.S. So that's exciting. I thought it was a really smart run. He's an incredibly intelligent runner, and in all his races, you kind of see him just know his ability and what he's trying to accomplish, and back off when he needs to, or hold steady when he needs to, and respond when he needs to. And we saw that it looked like it was slipping away from him around the 20-mile mark or so. But I think he was just running within himself, and the guy who passed was just being incredibly aggressive. And then he ran the tangents, stayed composed, brought it all back. You could see the grimace late. You could tell he knew that 2:06 was like floating out there. And he just grabbed it and brought it in. It was cool. It's cool to watch.
So he is an American citizen, but he's not eligible to represent the United States until, is it 2028 or is it before that?
Might be 27, but for sure 28.
So he will definitely be eligible at the Olympic trials.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
I think. I'm pretty sure.
No, I think so too.
9%. Yeah. So that's exciting. I think that, again, I think that's one of those people who's going to put pressure on a lot of the other guys. Think about what Rickman did last year in LA, where you're like, who's that? And how did you do that? And then everyone was like, okay, we got to get on this. This same sort of thing. It's not that they didn't respect the performance. It was just like, I'm not afraid of that. I don't need to be afraid of this guy or that guy. And so I think Talby doing this will, light another fire. So that's exciting.
Do you know where Talby's training? I'm sure you do.
I don't. I want to say Colorado, maybe Flagstaff. I'm not sure.
Okay. Something at altitude, probably. Cool.
Seems
that's exciting. Okay. We do have to talk about one bad thing because people will be like, how could you not talk about it? But it was announced today that Albert Carrier, 2021 New York City Marathon champion, who I believe was on the podium. He was 5th this past year in New York, but he's been on the podium multiple times in New York and at Boston as well. Tested positive for a banned substance, basically like a fancy EPO, as I understand it.
Fancy EPO. Wow. Jeez.
And I just don't have any fight in me to like being up in arms. I'm like,
Well, are you surprised? Like, is there anybody at this point that you'd be like, wow, that's surprising? Like,
no,
I don't know.
Yeah. There's some people I'd be surprised. And then there's some people that I'd be surprised that they just got caught.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few athletes that I, in my heart of hearts, do not believe anything that I see them do, but I can't imagine them ever getting caught.
Sure. Okay.
But anyway, no, I'm not surprised. I'm sad for all the athletes that had to race against him and who have been displaced over the years, but I don't know why. I think it's because there's too much other stuff going on in the world. I'm kind of like, yeah, that sucks. I don't feel the normal rage that I normally feel.
What's the status of results? What do we know what he's got on the line, what he might lose? I know Boston's now doing this sort of payback situation, which will be great, but does he actually lose those results or
Well, he won't lose those results because unless they can prove that he's been doing this the whole time, it'll just go back to whenever his was a January 12th test.
Oh.
So anything January 12th. No. They announced it on January 12th. Sorry, that was wrong. So I don't know when the test was, but it'll be whenever the test was. It was probably, I should know more because I normally know all of the details, but that I just feel blah about it. Like, okay. But probably the test was in the last 2 months. So it'll just go back to whenever the test was that he tested positive, and anything before that stands. It's like we'd had this whole conversation about Ruth Ngetich and her world record. And people are like, well, how does it stand? And how she still gets to keep all of her titles and none of that, like nothing actually changes. She just can't race for a couple of years. And I don't know how long his ban will be. It's EPO. So I'm hoping it's a 4-year ban. It absolutely should be a 4-year ban. But anything before, like nothing happens. I mean, he's not going to be disqualified from his Boston results. So even though Boston wants to do the right thing, like he's not going to be officially disqualified. So.
Boof.
Bump.
All right. Well, let's swing back the other way and do top 5. I got nothing to add. I have nothing.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like if we didn't say it, people would be like, oh, how could you miss that? And I'm like, no, we got it.
Yeah.
We got it. I don't know. Maybe I'll be more rageful next week. But right now I just feel like, yep, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, when do you just, what's the upside of this? Like, I think, like, is it good that people are getting caught?
I mean, yeah. Like, I want people to get caught. But
it's, I guess even that, like, for people testing, and it's just, you got to remember that it's ultimately a good thing, but it's frustrating. So frustrating.
Yeah, I think if I were to really let myself go there with this situation, I'm just going to get really annoyed and really frustrated that this person has had a ton of success in the sport. I'm supposed to believe he just doped once after all that success, and that nothing actually changes. Like we can't rewind the tape. He's not even going to be disqualified from anything. And so then I get like, well, what is the point? But then I would get mad at myself because I would say, well, of course you want him to get caught. Of course I want them to do the testing. Of course I want them to continue to try. But, that's just the reality for elite athletes is it's like, it's never a fair shot.
Yeah, and it's just this stuff is like you want the clean playing field, you want to have your fair shot, but the other side of it's like all of the positive tests just absolutely damage the credibility of the sport. Where it's like, why
Yeah.
would I watch this? It's a joke. It's not. This is a joke.
But maybe it is a joke. So we just need to,
I
you
know.
know what I mean?
Well, maybe, but like here's like then you have something like the enhanced games. It's like, is that the way we go? I don't think so,
Well, we
but
can have a whole episode on
yeah.
that as
I
it
mean,
gets
there's
closer.
a can of worms. I don't know. I couldn't leave it at like I don't care, but I
Right.
do
No,
care.
that's,
It's
I know
just
you do.
it's a whole thing.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
Okay,
let's go to a
something
top 5.
positive.
Let's go to a top 5.
Okay. I'll start.
Okay.
I'm going to say the Tallahassee Organizing Committee for the World Championship. They did an awesome job. The course was awesome. Supposedly they sold out all their tickets that they had. It seemed like it was well attended. People were cheering loudly on the side. I just feel like they did a great job. They hosted a great World Championships, great coverage, easy to follow. Results were up quickly. I just think they did a great job. So, tip of the hat. That's not an easy thing to pull off. And I legitimately have no complaints.
I'll give you one little thing. The snakes on the course.
I did
wild,
see that.
which is not their fault. Well, it's kind of their fault, but yeah, that was a wild part of the race.
Yeah.
Very Florida.
Very Florida. No, I just think they nailed it. So congratulations to everyone involved. Like, that's how you do it. That's how you put on a world championship. Good job.
It's a little clap there. Okay, I'm going to go with the U.S. men distance running. I thought, obviously, brave racing in Tallahassee. Obviously, we head to Houston, and 4 men under 60 minutes. They've arrived, and they've all been there. You know, we've been ready for this moment. We've had the right people for this, but you got to get the results on the day. Great conditions in Houston, and no one was afraid to take advantage of it. So it's one thing to say it, but to get the results on the page, that's cool. And yeah, I think you had, who was it? Mayer, Klinger, Ford, Rodriguez, 4 men under 60, setting the tone for the rest of the year. So that's exciting.
That is exciting. I'm going to just shadow that and say the women half marathon, the American women, just PRs across the board. I'm excited about this crop of women. I'm excited to see what comes. And, you know, we talked about it on our live pod in Houston, but you don't know where people are in their season. You don't know if they took, you know, if they relaxed over the holiday. But if it's any indication, it's going to be a really, really good year from the American distance squad. So it was exciting to see. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call out a single person because I just think he ran super well. Obviously, Casey Klinger, he was so disappointed after Chicago. I think that he had this incredible build and, you know, swung for the fences in a debut, which is a really hard thing to do. I think he felt expectations. I think there was some pressure on him just knowing what the fitness was, but also seeing the guys around him kind of put up the results that matched it with training with Connor Mance and Clayton Young. I mean, I think he was going head to head with those guys during that build. And so came away from the marathon disappointed, but showed that he's got all the fitness and he's absolutely going to be a factor when he connects the dots for that fitness in the marathon distance. I think he could be an all-timer, which is really exciting. So it was nice to see him have some redemption in the shorter distance. And I think that he's still, I'm buying stock in Casey is what I'm saying. How's that?
That sounds like a smart purchase. Okay, this is a little bit of a shift. I'm going to send my love and positivity to the city of Minneapolis and all of Minnesota, who's going through a lot. I'm so proud to be from Minnesota. I'm so proud of how the community rallies around each other in Minnesota. They show up for each other. We've seen it time and time again. And I just know there's a lot of fear right now. And I just wanted to just send my love to everybody and wish for peace. And yeah, just know that I'm thinking of you guys. I love you guys. And I hope you all stay safe.
Love it. All right.